Welcome back to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. It's great to have you with us today. We are broadcasting from the Concierge Landscape Studios. We're brought to you this hour by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. And before we get into our next topic, I'd like to let our listeners know here in the first hour, we have got a free gift for you. It is our bi-monthly subscription, our newsletter called What's New. A lot of what we cover on the radio show and what we don't have time for, we cover in that newsletter. And we have about 23,000 subscribers now. We've been growing. And it's been a great resource. People have just loved it. One of the reasons you need to go and get that subscription is because of the free webinars that are offered. We had one about 2 weeks ago, had a huge turnout, and we've got another one coming up on April 3rd. Not to be missed. It is a webinar at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, April 3rd, called Changing Rules and Amending Documents, When is it necessary and how should it be done? And it's taught by our very own Executive Vice President of New Concepts, Paul Roth. And so if that's something you've been wondering about, living in a homeowners association, you want to get that newsletter, you want to go to our website to be able to get signed up. To get the newsletter, all you need to do is give us a call during the week at New Concepts at 952-2500. Ask for Courtney, and she'll make sure that you start receiving that subscription, and you can receive it electronically or by mail.
I'd also like to ask our listeners to please give us your feedback and your ideas for topics. If something's on your mind, if you're dealing with a specific issue in your homeowners association, call our hotline and let us know about it. Ask us a question or give us some information or educate us on something. The hotline number is 952-224-2668. That's 952-224-2668. Leave a message that includes your name and phone number, and we'll try and get you on the show.
You know what happened? I listened to our hotline after coming back from vacation last week, and there was a guy who left a message. Said, Gene, I gotta talk to you. He said, I've got a great topic for the show. And so I called him right away, and he said, I can't tell you about it over the phone. I want to get together with you in person over coffee. So we're meeting at this week, Friday morning.
Well, great.
And he's going to tell us what this great topic is.
It'll be interesting to find out what he's thinking.
That's right. So, yeah, we love to hear from our listeners. Well, let us begin with our next story. And this was an editorial piece that caught my eye, and I just thought it was great. It's called Accountability and Responsibility. And we are happy to have online with us live the people that wrote this article. And this was in the Florida Sun-Sentinel, I think back on March 22nd. We want to welcome to Where You Live with Gene and Tony, Bill and Susan Rappan.
Hi.
Welcome.
Am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
Actually, you did it very well, and not many people get that silent H there, so you got it right.
Oh, good. A name is always important, and so I want to make sure that we always get that right. Well, thanks for taking some time. Now, what I think is real interesting, I'd like you to tell our listeners a little bit about your background. Now, you wrote this piece about people not taking, you don't feel taking accountability or responsibility the same way that they did probably a few years ago. Is that correct?
That's correct.
But you also, and I'm also wondering, I'm interested in knowing, you guys have a very special distinction. In Florida, you have what's called the HOA Ombudsman Office, correct?
Well, it's not actually called that. It's called the Condominium Ombudsman's Office.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Condominium
Ombudsman Office. And this was created, maybe 7-8 years ago?
Well, created in December of 2004.
2004, okay.
And the ombudsman is appointed by the governor.
Mm-hmm. And the purpose...
And in 2004, they appointed the first ombudsman.
And that was?
That person's name was Dr. Virgil Rizzo.
Okay.
And then after that, there was a second ombudsman who we absolutely adored. Her name was Danielle Carroll.
Uh-huh.
And then there was Colleen Donahue.
Okay.
And right now, there's another one. His name is Bruce Campbell.
Weren't you telling me that both Susan, that you and Bill were in that office?
Yes, actually, we were the first volunteers. We did it for about 7 months, actually for free.
I see.
Worked almost 7 days a week answering phones and with people's complaints.
Wow.
And then we finally got hired by the state, and we worked there for another 6 or so years.
Okay, we thought that's what we had understood. So you were kind of candy stripers for the homeowners associations.
I get it.
In Florida. What did you learn during that stint?
Well, the point was, in the beginning when we first started, it was more or less disgruntled condominium unit owners.
Okay.
But as the time, and what we would do is we tried to educate them. The office didn't have any power, but the main thrust of that office was to educate. And we would direct them to the statutes, and also the state has a wonderful trove of educational material on their website, and they also had it in hard copy. And we also decided that we really should be going around the state and educating these people. So we started doing classes, and my husband is actually more of the expert. I'm with him on all the classes, but you can explain the classes a little bit better than I can.
So you really saw it as a matter of educating the consumer who were buying homes in associations. Is that right?
Correct.
You know what my wife was leading to was the fact that, yes, in the beginning it seemed to be that it was mostly disgruntled owners who thought the state would come to their rescue. As the time went on, it became a fact that it was mostly board members and managers who were calling us. And what were they asking? Well, they didn't know the law, and they wanted to be educated. So we started an education program of which we went around the state, as my wife said, and we educated people. And then we're actually continuing to do that. The law firm we work for, which is Katzman, Garfinkel, and Berger, they're a community association law firm. And we actually do 9 different classes here on all different types of community association subjects, such as meetings and elections classes. We have a finance class, which we call Dollars and Cents, of course, with an S. And it's very interesting because there is a great need everywhere, I'm sure in all the states that have community associations for education. That's really the key.
Yeah.
And so I guess it's not a stretch then by any means to say that a lot of what you have found with people being disgruntled or upset, maybe just because of a lack of knowledge and understanding of how this thing called an HOA works.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Okay.
Do you still see mostly management people and board members in your audience for your classes?
Yes, we do. Even where we are now, it seems to be mostly people who want to learn and want to know the statutes and want to know the laws. And, I have to say, as a rule, these are good people. They're volunteers for their boards, and they take the time out to educate themselves. And here in Florida, it's actually a law. If you live in a condominium, you have to either take a class or sign a certificate within 90 days of being elected.
Okay.
So it's very interesting. We've actually put that into law here.
Yeah, it has been discussed here in Minnesota. I don't know if any action's been taken on that.
No. So let me ask you with this, there's probably a number of different entities now that offer those types of classes in Florida for people to take?
Well, we're the largest one. The largest. He and I do the most classes all over. Most of the law firms today in the state, I shouldn't say all, many of the law firms in the state of Florida do classes, but not to the extent that we do them, where they would have 9 different classes. And, I just want to let you know also, a lot of the people in the classes are people who would like to be on their boards. and they're trying to learn things of all the things that they must learn to be on a board prior to becoming a board member. And one thing that we do explain to them, it's not only the education that's important, it's the implementation. Implementation is the power. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't run for the board, well, that education actually becomes superfluous.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Very good point.
Yeah. Well, say, Bill and Susan, we have to go to a break right now. Can you stay with us for one more segment?
Absolutely.
What we would like to do is we'd like to get to the reason we asked for you guys to be on the air with us is to talk about this opinion piece that was written called Accountability and Responsibility. Folks, we're talking to Bill and Susan Rapin. We will be back with Where You Live with Gene and Tony after these messages.